Welcome back to MTX Automotive. I started the tear down on the 74 International Scout, and I've already got the driver's side door gutted and took off, and I just wanted to show kind of the procedure for this door, because they're, even though they're simple, they're a little bit tricky, and they've got some fitting, or not fittings, but fasteners on them, like for the windows and stuff, that are kind of unique. Anyway, I had never seen any of them before. There's a video out there on the older model, but I didn't see anything on this series or this generation, which is the 74. So I'm gonna get on this, and that way you guys can see. First, I'm going to start taking these trim screws off. I'm going to take the window handle, crank handle off, and it's just a Allen screw. I don't know what size it is. Alright, now I'm going to be on the door handle. It is a Phillips screw. Next will be the it's a Phillips screw also. Okay, so we got the door panel off. The next thing that I would advise is to take your favorite rust dissolving or penetrant and go over every screw that you see on the door. It does not going to take a lot. Now these will vary depending on what shape the vehicle is that you're working on. Some is worse than others. This one's been pretty good so far. Two down here, and you got a few on the side, two at the bottom. Okay, so at this time we can go ahead and take the outside handle off. You don't have to do it now, but now's as good a time as any. It has a screw, Phillips screw right there, and then up through this hole here is a 3/8 nut. I'm just going to take it off, and it's got a washer and a lock washer on it as well. Okay, there's the nut, and I'll take the screw off. And it comes off like this. It's nothing, no. It's not connected to any rods or anything. It just pushes out like that. Okay, and the next thing we can do is remove the lock, the key lock on the outside, and it's a metal latch. You just get a screwdriver and pull that out, prise it out. Comes out like that. Okay, so at this point, this is an original truck here, and on both doors they have a warning or a caution down here, warning you about this coil spring that is in the regulator. It's under tension, and the way they recommend it is to have the window in they call it the closed position, which would be the up position. And that way you have the least amount of tension on the spring. It doesn't mean there's not any tension on it. It just means that's the point where it has the least amount of tension on it. So I think what I want to do next is go after, I believe it's these two screws and these two on the bottom here, and that will allow me to take the track, the lower half of the track, because it splits, it slides up onto itself, you know, the upper and the lower track, and that's the only way that it will come out is if they designed it like this. These are just short Phillips screws. Now, these tracks, this is a 74, it's never been apart, so the tracks they'll be kind of frozen in there 90% of the time. Yeah, I can already tell. Actually, I have these two screws up here that I missed. That holds the top part of the track on. This back track, it is the full length. This one here is just a half track. Okay, so this one here is already, it's kind of loose. And this one, this is one that generally is not loose. Okay, so I've got this front track loosened now, and need to amend the instructions there. It has two screws up here also that hold this bracket, and this is the one out of the other door. Now, this one's still in here, and what I would do is I took something, you know, slim like this, and you can tap that, and it taps it down. You're just going to tap it all the way down till it bottoms out on the bottom of the door. That way, when you get this other stuff ready to come out, that stuff, it'll come out quick, because you don't want it to be hung up inside here. Because that'll, you know, you're standing there with your arms up, and you just want it to come out as quick as possible. And there's also coming in from the side of the door, there's two bolts, two holes. Okay, I've already got these loosened and took out, but there's some little plastic caps that cover up the holes, and these go in and hold this wing window in, and those will have to come out as well. It's a tight fit. I was only able to do it with a quarter-inch drive ratchet with a pretty short extension and a shallow half-inch socket. But that can come out at this time as well. Okay, there's the bolt for that. Okay, so at this point, we are ready to take the window to release it from the regulator itself, or from its track. And the best way to do that, there's no easy way, but is to lower it down until you see the scissor arms come down where you can get to them as good as you can. So the clip that I referred to earlier in the video is what we're going to go after next to release that, and it's impossible to get a shot of it because it's on the back side of this scissor arm. So what I've got set up here on the bed of the truck is the regulator out of the driver's side, and as you can see here, it's the exact same. It's just the opposite door, and this is the clip that we're trying to get off the back side of that, and it just slips in like that, and then it goes in a groove on that stud right there. So you just push it in there and then slide it forward like that, and that's all that holds the window to the regulator. So what you're trying to do is get that thing fished off of there, and preferably you need it to slide this way, which would be horizontally. Otherwise it's going to try to bump into these, the way they've got this metal bent. So it's got a little tab right here. So, and you got to keep in mind you're working behind the window, so it's difficult at best. But you're just going to try to prise that up, and it's best if you can push in with your thumb somehow on this back side, and it relieves a little bit of the tension on that, and you just push it back and it pops off like that. So that's the way you do that, and I'll go ahead and get this. I've already got one of these off. I'll go ahead and get the other one knocked off, and we'll continue on. Okay, so now I've got the window released from the scissor arms. I've got it lifted up. I have a screwdriver with the handle first in this hole, and it's resting on that. That's just to hold it up while I take the regulator and then the spring mechanism and all that stuff out. So there you can feel the spring tension they were referring to. It is real. Okay, so we have the regulator and everything resting comfortably in the bottom. The only last thing that I had to do was remove this chrome hole cover, which reveals a 1/2 inch bolt goes in there. You take that out, and then now this and the wing window, the main window will slide out all as one piece. Just like that. Now then your tracks in here. Here's the rear one. track. And now the regulator. Coming off. Just like that. And now then we can concentrate on the handle, the inside handle, and the door latch, which is pretty simple from here on, compared to what you go through getting that stuff out. This inside door latch has a clip that is kind of hard to get to if my camera person can get in here and get a visual of it. You see it right there. And typically what you can do is get a flat screwdriver in there and try to push that thing toward the inside, pardon me, toward the outside. The driver's side come off really easy. This here is probably going to be the one that does it. There it comes. Okay, so once it's pushed forward, you can usually come back in here with your hand on the other side and remove it. It's going to come off like that. Then the rod will just lift out, lifts out like that. And I usually just put that back on there. You can bend these tabs down and make that stay on there better. But once you get this pushed on, you can leave it on, because on reassembly, all you're doing is just pushing that down through there. It locks onto itself. Yeah, you just squeeze those tabs down, put that back on, and you're good to go. So now I will get this last 3 screws out on the door latch. Unscrew your inside lock. And you kind of got to fish this handle or this latch through the hole. But it will. There it goes. Okay. That comes out kind of as an assembly. Screw that back on there. And I always try to put my screws back in the holes they come out of, just to make life easier. Okay, so that's going to conclude this video on the door disassembly on a 74 Scout. Have a good day.